Welcome to the Just KNIME It Recap. If you haven't heard of Just KNIME It before, we provide you with a weekly data science problem and challenge you to solve it with a KNIME workflow. In the recap, I'll give some of my thoughts on the problem and showcase a few of the solutions from the community on the KNIME Forum. Last week's challenge was on image analysis, specifically on some format and sizing conversions. Now, this was probably one of the more complicated challenges we've had so far, requiring you to install a new extension if you haven't used the image extension before, and really requiring you to get a little creative. So let's just jump right into the challenge so I can show some of the nodes. You work as a freelance photo reporter for wildlife magazines. In your daily work, you take a lot of pictures, usually in .jpg format, and in different sizes. To sell your photographs to magazines, you need to accommodate their different sizing and formatting requests. To streamline this process, you decide to build a workflow that automates 1. Resizing, 2. Image format conversion, and 3. Saves the edited images on your machine. Okay, let's look at some of the workflows. There's two different ways that people solved this mainly. Either by creating a component that lets you make some configuration choices in a configuration dialog, or with a data app that pops up with a interactive visualization that you could even use in the web portal. But before we get into what those look like, let's go into the first solutions component here. This one's by Tark, and let's see what kind of nodes we're using. You see that this is kind of big. There's a lot of nodes here, and there's a lot that might not be familiar to everyone. The first thing we're seeing here is a case switch. This one's really important here because there's a lot of choices that need to be made. We choose what kind of format we want the output in. We choose what sizes we want, whether that's a resizing that maintains the aspect ratio. So there's different options here. So that's where this case switch comes in. It branches the workflow into these different directions. And one of the new nodes that you'll need to use is this image resizer. Let's go to this one in the active branch so we can see what it looks like. And basically what you're doing here is you're able to scale these different dimensions, X, Y, and Z. And these are ratios. So this would be a 50% scaling. You'll notice that this is being controlled by flow variables, and that allows this to be in an interactive component. The other part of the workflows you'll want to check out, if this is interesting to you, is this format part down here. So we either reformat them into PNG or into SVG. And that requires a couple different nodes. So let's look at the PNG one, because what we mainly use here is this image plus format. So that's the format that the image extension natively uses. And if we want to convert these image plus files into PNG files, we can use the image plus to PNG image node. Similarly with SVG. But let's look at the solutions themselves. So Tark here has a component. So what that looks like, this one's a dashboard. We open it up and we get a data app like this. And we get these options here with radio buttons. What format do we want to output it in? What scaling do we want to use? Do we want to set that to a fixed size? And then a little checkbox here for whether or not we want to save the image or if we just want to see it. So here we can see this leopard reduced in size. The next solution here is by Tofusa. He's got a data app again with two different screens. So if you're using this in the web portal, you'll get a next button that'll take you from the first page to the second page. This first page of the data app is where you'll be able to select this kind of thing, what sizing you want to do, how much reduction you need on these images, and he shows you them as well. And then you go to the next page, and it'll pop up here with a little download icon. Now this is really great for when you're downloading or building data apps and you want people to be able to download files at the end. This is useful outside of images as well if you want to allow somebody to upload an Excel file and maybe create some visualizations and then download a PDF report at the end. The third solution here is by Tom LGH, and Tom's the one that uses a component. So instead of a data app here, you'll notice that we have no our magnifying glass here for a visualization. We have just a gear instead. So we can click on this gear, browse to the files, select what we want to do to them, as well as select the factor and the format. Now this is really nice if you want to share this or just use it in a workflow. So these are two different ways that we can export solutions like this for other people to use, whether that be in a data app in the web browser or locally as a shared component like this one. All right, thank you for attending another week of the Just KNIME It Recap. This is the hardest one yet, so if you manage to solve it, congratulations, and I will see you next week for the next challenge. Don't forget to share your solutions with the hashtag Just KNIME It, and we will see you on the next recap. Thank you.